Welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. Who vex lose, people? Who vex lose? Welcome, one and all. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, wherever you are joining us from. Happy Mother's Day. Hope you have a fantastic day, whatever form the celebration is, or no celebration at all, perhaps. Happy Mother's Day nonetheless. Happy Mother's Day, folks. You know, they say every day is Mother's Day. So there's that. Every day is Mother's Day. Isabella Butters and Beatrice Selby. Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you guys. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a really great day. Happy to be at this end to keep you company for another hour or so. We are so grateful. We are so tremendously privileged to be able to come into your homes, onto your smart devices in this way and touch base with you, share some news and information, and then get out of your ears so you can get on with life. Good to have you here, guys. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. Great to have you here with us, guys. Great to have each and every one of you. I see Jacqueline Pastano is here. Desiree Hollingsworth, guys. Happy Mother's Day. Biological mother or not, we say Happy Mother's Day. Who vex lose? That's what we've said. Good to have you here with us, guys. You know, when you come onto the podcast, what you got to do, you got to share the live stream, and you've got to also smash that emoji button for us. Let us know how you guys are feeling out there. What's your mood today? Is it sunny? Is it cloudy with a chance of showers? What is it? Let us know the temperature where you are. What's the weather like? No doubt some of you are going to be in the process of preparing Sunday lunch, among other things. And we really hope that above all, you guys have a good day. You know, you're gentle with yourselves. You touch base with family and friends, that kind of thing. That's indicative of the weekend. Some of you guys might be at work like me. You might be at work, workaholics. You know how it goes, but you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. We out here, folks. We got boots on the ground. We ain't backing up. Pace and power. Good to have you guys here with us. Yesterday, believe it or not, we were in the mining town of Lindan, situated in Region 10, and we were touching base with those persons who would have been dislocated thanks to the government recently and their assault on the squatting area in Amelia's ward in particular. And we're going to be talking to you about that, taking you there as we talked with some of the residents yesterday. We're going to be taking you to that discussion to give you some context as to what's happening there. But first, guys, you know you got to share the live stream. You got to smash that emoji button as well. And we're so glad that all of you guys are here with us. We are going to talk to you about a couple of things, and of course, we're going to get out to your ears so you can get on with it. And, you know, we've been having some up and down weathers at our end. We have been having some up and down weather at our end. And lots that is happening in journalism. Besides reporting the news, it's taking place. We're going to talk to you a little bit about that as we move forward. We're going to talk to you a little bit about that. We saw one of the news media locally reporting on a report that came out of the Caribbean Media Association, and we're going to be talking to you a little bit about that. And the bulk of our discussion is gonna deal with the squatting situation there at Amelia's Ward, what they call Phase 2 Amelia's Ward. We're going to be talking to you guys about that. But we're so happy, first and foremost, that you guys are here with us. Happy Mother's Day again. Happy Sunday. You know, so glad to be here with you guys. So very glad to be here with you guys. So much happening. So many things happening at our end. And we know it's the same where you guys are. We know it's the same where you guys are. We're going to be touching base again, beginning with what's happening. This report out of the Association of Caribbean Media Workers, talking to you about some of that. Touching base with some other issues we're seeing happening in the news as regards journalism, and some other things we think you ought to know about. Share the live stream. Claire Capel and Paul Passad and Karen Black, Roxanne Watkins, Romilianda, Marilyn Thomas, Marilyn King, Cicely Weeks, and all you other good natured, lovely, uncontroversial folks, peace loving, A very happy Sunday to you guys. Hope the day's off to a great start. My day is as calm as could be. I started great, and it's been pretty okay. Nothing to complain about. Pretty okay, folks, and I'm happy about that. Pretty okay. Good to have you guys here with us. Good to have you guys here with us, and we're gonna get right to it. Thanks for joining us, Carol Rollins and Sylvester Hardy, Raj Kumar, Marilyn King is here as well, and Claudette Bobby Lewis. Claudette, how you doing? We trust all is well. Lauren Jones, we see Lauren joining us on YouTube. Whether you're joining us on Twitter this morning, guys, whether you're joining us on YouTube, you're a tuber. We're so happy you joining us on Facebook. Facebook. You're joining us on LinkedIn, wherever you picking up the broadcast from this morning. We are so privileged to be here with you guys. So very, very privileged. I see Edward Gonzalez is here and Latoya Williams. I see Audrey Hickens Griffith is here as well, and Shirley Dusa Tendry is here. I see Audrey, yeah. I did call Audrey Hickens Griffith, but there it's the second time. Shirley as well. Shirley says pace and power. Marlene says pace and power. And saying good to see you, and again, happy Mother's Day, happy Sunday, happy new day of the week. Happy, 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 happy Mother's Day to all of you deserving women out there. We trust all is well. We trust all is well. All is well. Well, folks, let's start with what the Caribbean Media Association has been saying. And they have been the headline here out of a Village Voice. A Village Voice. The headline here at the Village Voice that Caribbean media houses flag unfair distribution of media of state ads, and this is in Guyana, and this is a part of the report that the Caribbean media houses, and this is the Association of Caribbean Media House, the Association of Caribbean Media Workers, that organization, they are flagging the unfair distribution of state ads right here in Guyana. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Believe it or not, John Jones. Believe it or not, Tessa Noel and Wills Felix Camon. Believe it or not, Cheryl Mulrain. Believe it or not, they're flagging what's happening here, the unfair distribution of state ads. Brothers and sisters, this was happening right beneath our noses. Yep. And I want to read part of the report, which says that while there was no reports locally in Guyana of loss of jobs or salary due to COVID-19, due to the pandemic, media houses have cited lack of adequate state advertising. Yep, lack of adequate state advertising among other concerns. Some raise concerns about favored media houses and social media commentators. Folks ain't talking about me. I want you to know. No, we will mind some state ads, but they ain't talking about us. Folks, they said about, favored media houses. If y'all know some favored media houses, oh, put it in, hashtag them for me, man. Let's quote y'all. If y'all know some favored media houses and favored social media commentators, put them in the comments. Let's highlight them. Yep, that's what the report is talking about. They go on here to talk about favorite media houses and social media commentators who continue to receive state advertising through government ministries with favorable coverage. Yep. Once you talk nice for them boys, right? Once you talk nice for them boys, you can get your own brown bag. Once you talk nice for them, so you understand what happening at we end. You all understand what happening at our end. Persona non grata. Yep. Don't come wrong, we. You're unwelcome. Persona non grata. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. But they say they got a couple. They got some chosen few. Right. Once you can sing to them by tune, dance to them by drum beat, you and them good. You can get a little freck, and that is what the Association of Caribbean Media Workers. That's what they are complaining about. They say nothing irregular. Nothing irregular, and that is what the complaint is about. They go on to say here, as long as you give favorable coverage, right? And that's what a section of the report reads. It was noted that it was noted, guys, that here was the concern under the APNU AFC government as it concerns media. It was noted that under the Partnership for National Unity and Alliance for Change administration pre-August 2020, the pie became smaller. The the media pie, right? The money to go around became smaller. Why? Because we selected a few friends and family only to give money to. Here, why the pie became smaller, the pie to go around became smaller. Hmm? With the granting of more radio and television licenses, because of the granting of more radio and television licenses, right? As operators try to secure whatever business advertising was there to share. Yep. Because there were more media houses, there were more entities granted radio and television licenses. Of course, the advertising dollar had to stretch that much farther. Yep. So them boys only given to those who, according to this report here, favored media houses and social media commentators. Y'all put any there? I see somebody hashtag critic. We are critic. We are critical. I see somebody hashtag critic there. Favored media houses and social media commentators. Yep. It says here again another segment of this report out of Demerara, not Demerara, out of Village Voice. Out of Village Voice, it says here, according to the report, the press in Guyana remains fairly free and open. However, it is often reflective of what? Yep, often reflective of the political division in the country, with some media houses showing bias. Some media houses showing bias. That's how it's going down. And again, Village Voice is pulling this story out of the Association of Caribbean Media Workers. And it's their report that Village Voice is reporting on here. Yep. So just the other day, them boys want to give us the impression as though all is well. Yeah? Now, so that is the impression they're trying to give us, that all is well. Right? But what we're learning here is nothing irregular. That's what we're learning here. Nothing unregular. And while we're talking about that, folks, while we're talking about that and what is coming out of this report from the Association of Caribbean Media Workers, here is what Starbucks News is reporting this morning in that context. Who's going to share this live program for us? Who's going to share the live broadcast so that others get credible and valid information? Here's what they're talking about here. They say, as a headline on the front page of the Starbucks News, Sunday Starbucks, it says, journalists denied opportunity to question Ali and Bolsonaro. You'll remember the Brazilian president visited quite recently. Here is Starbucks News talking about how journalists locally, right? And people want to talk about transparency and good governance. Part of it is having the press put questions to your elected leaders, right? Questions to your elected leaders about all of the outcomes of these bilaterals, the meetings you have had with, the Brazilian president Irfan Ali and the Brazilian president Jair Bolsonaro, right? And that is what Starbucks News is reporting on. The Starbucks News journalist on this piece is Lekram Bajirat. Lekram Bajirat. And the headline here is, journalists denied opportunity to question Ali and Bolsonaro. And the report says, folks, that the local press corps, along with a number of news entities from Brazil, were denied the opportunity to question Guyanese President Irfan Ali and his Brazilian counterpart, Jair Bolsonaro, on Friday, when the latter made his first official visit to Guyana. It says here that Bolsonaro was in Guyana on Friday, where he and the team met with President Ali and his government. His visit was in response to an invitation by the Guyanese president to further discussion on areas of cooperation between the two countries. It says here that the two leaders, along with Surinamese President Chandrika Prasad Santokhi, met in Suriname in January this year, where they discussed the establishment of an energy corridor. Yep, yep, yep. So again, folks, you see clearly here. You see very clearly that the Stambrook News, a very middle of the road, a news publication. We, of course, in this business we don't always agree with what they say, but here is Starbuck News, right? This is not anybody else. This is Starbuck News saying that, they're very, very concerned, right? That journalists were denied the opportunity to put questions to Ali and Bolsonaro. You aren't doing your own business. That's what we're saying. You're transacting the people's business. And why can't journalists, if everything is on the up and up, question you as to what you're doing and how you're doing it? Something is wrong with that in the 21st century of open government. And these are the same folks. These are the same jagabats. These are the same trench crappos. These are the same jumbie birds who want to come and talk about good governance. They're going to come and talk about rule of law. And just recently, all in keeping with the season, because it was International Press Freedom Day. Oh, they want to come and talk about how they support a free press and how the press has nothing to fear and they will not come spying on the press and all of that. But how do you foster transparency, good governance, and the press can't ask you a damn question? How is that even possible? Right? Don't take my word for it. This is Starbucks News talking to us. Again, it's Village Voice pointing out the fact that the Association of Caribbean Media Workers pointing out what is happening here in terms of media. Caribbean Media Workers, the Association of Caribbean Media Workers in this report. That the government only spending your money is not their money. They're spending it on what the report says here on favored media houses and social media commentators. Right? And then when real journalists brace them to do real media work, to be the fourth estate as they know how to do it, journalists denied opportunity to question Ali and Bolsonaro. What kind of foolishness is this? Come on now. Don't come wrong. We funny like this. What's happening here, guys? What's happening here? Right? Another part of this report coming out of the Media Workers Association, the Caribbean Media Workers Association, talked about the fact you haven't had one damn post-cabinet press briefing since whenever. Let me read this section for you guys. And you're going to come and talk about good governance? It's nothing going right in this country? That's what you're telling us? Nothing going right? That is what it says here. Total confunction nonsense. Right? It talked about that here. It talked about that. It talked about that here. It says, according to the report that Village Voice is quoting, it says President Mohammed Irfan Ali has held few press conferences and has resorted to briefings or statements in the state media. Right? This is what the report said, while noting that interviews on matters of national importance are often limited to social media commentators and media houses deemed to be government friendly. I have backside. It goes on to state here, these include interviews done by Vice President Bar Jagdeo. The report pointed out, while adding that Jagdeo, in his capacity as opposition leader pre-August 2020, held weekly press conferences. But now, press conferences off limits. And the report goes on to state here that the main opposition, the main parliamentary opposition members are also known for providing interviews to opposition-friendly media houses. They are also known to provide recorded statements, leaving a little room for clarification. Well, we got to work on that. We got to work on that. If the perceptions out there, we got to work on that. We got to pull up our socks. We got to pull our socks up. Right? Don't let us become the jagabas, trench crappos, that we criticize constructively on the other side. We got to pull his socks up too. If there's any truth in that, we got to pull his socks up. But let's turn our attention, folks. Paula Jones and Gladstone Matthews and Mark Garnett, Samuel Jack, Bernard Innes, to what's happening there in Linden. And in particular in Amelia's ward, in the squatting area at the back. Went there yesterday to see for myself and Singh and Mark Allman what's happening. And it's tragic what's happening there. You have some people who are squatting there. They want a roof over their head. It's not like they have homes other places. But they want a roof over their head. In some instances, life has been harsh to them. And they want a roof over their head. You got some other instances where two fellas that are known PUP supporters, one Power, and one Fraser, they have been selling lands at the back there to people, representing that they are connected to the regime and that those lands are going to be, what is the word, regularized. And scores, if not hundreds of persons have bought land in this fashion from Powers and Fraser, and it is known. Right? It is known. They are known to the regime, and the regime is known to them. And could you imagine paying money for a piece of land and waking up one day to your house being bulldozed? Can you imagine that? And some of these are fairly decent structures. People have invested 500,000, a million, 1.5, 2.5, $3 million in building a house here because somebody further into Amelia's ward, it is alleged, want to put down some housing scheme there and wants a road in and bulldozing people. One woman was in one of these structures while it's being bulldozed and nobody's concerned. People suffering in this country, the economic hardship, while some people sailing, throwing big boat parties, sailing through, people being flooded out. It's like we're tone deaf as leaders in this country. People are being flooded out and all manner of things. And who cares? Huh? Some of the diplomatic corps compromising themselves, a pack of waste. Some of the diplomatic corps compromising your integrity in this manner. Compromising yourself. I've lost touch of what you're supposed to be doing. Every time I see y'all at a party, knocking glass and drinking up and winding down. Stop it. Nonsense. Some of the diplomatic corps in this country have lost their focus and purpose. Have lost it. Where are the voices of people being bulldozed? Where are the voices? Some of you need to get up out of those diplomatic missions and go into places like Amelia's wards. But y'all want your all white garb to be soiled? What the hell y'all doing? Y'all want your all white head to toe to be soiled with that? Y'all went in Alness? Huh? You went in Port Morant to see the flood situation there? No, but y'all joyriding on boats on taxpayers' money. You have lost your sense of purpose and your mission here. Every time, every goddamn time, I see some of these high commissioners. It's a glass in the hand, and it's some party. That's all you're good for? Cocktails? Put on your damn boots and go and see the suffering of the people in this country and report what is happening to your foreign capitals. Guyana is not Georgetown alone. What the hell wrong with you? What the hell wrong with some of you? Guyana is not Georgetown alone. Every damn time I see some of y'all, it's a glass in hand. All drunkards. Living off of taxpayers. Soon as you got a little free rum, some of y'all dead. And people in this country suffering. Y'all should make some of those reports you send back to your capitals around the world public, so we could see some of the stuff y'all write. Because I got the impression that some of y'all missing some of what is happening. Right? This country is not just Duke Street. This country is not just Carifesta, where some of those embassies are. And the 4 square miles that house a lot of the embassies and high commissions. It is not there. Get up off your asses and go and see what's happening in Amelia's ward and places around this country. What the hell is wrong with you? Then you come wrong with funny? Huh? And then you gonna want to lecture us about the flipping will of the people? What you know about will of the people? When the will of the people are being violated on Capitol Hill, where were you? And you gonna want to lecture us about will of the people? The will of the people is to have a shelter over their heads. And the will was violated recently. Some of those people paid money for those lands, got the documents in hand, and their houses were bulldozed. And then you can come with some mix-up, flipping statements you can't read any which way. Right? Full of fire and fury and symbolizing nothing. Full of fire and fury and symbolizing nothing. But I know how y'all view us, because some of y'all went to a couple of universities overseas and you live by some lake someplace. You come in the third world and you feel we's not nobody. We never open a flipping book and read, so we don't know nothing. How y'all come wrong we like that? We's backwater people. We don't know how to knock glass. But if we weren't pillaged by some of these same foreign capitals that come here to lecture to us over the years, we weren't being raped and robbed economically by y'all, we've been better off. And now y'all come here and look down. And the only time y'all want to do anything is when y'all invited to some social, they come and knock glass. To come and knock glass, to keep us impoverished. Get. That's why he's saying, get. What the hell? How long we go like this? How long? Back and forth, back and forth. How long? Folks, I want to share some of what we picked up yesterday. If you see some of the houses that were razed to the ground yesterday because somebody wants some land further down. People got documentation of ownership, of being granted permission and lease for land. And the folks who went there mowing them down didn't care enough to read, to appreciate the concerns of people who got a legitimate right to be there. They didn't care. Right? You know why? Because money got to make. Not Sir Gary Greenwich. Money got to make. Money got to make. Right? Money got to make. T.R. Allison, Nemo Brown, money got to make. That's why I stay home sometimes from a lot of these functions. Because if I see some of y'all, I don't want small talk with y'all. I don't want small talk with none of y'all, because in my eyes, some of you are already small. Wicked set of people. I don't want to go at no fret and knocking glass with y'all. Shucks. So one man who professes he's a journalist. You ever been with Moet? You ever been with Moet? Can't even conduct your damn self properly. Small one, you can't even conduct a flipping interview. Set of buffoons, making yourself look like a clown. For what? For what? And then you want to wrap yourself in the garb of a journalist and make the rest of the profession a mockery? Look, get. So that being said, folks, that being said, Sherlyn Juice Tendry, Paul Passad, and Marjorie Primo. Hey, God don't sleep. God don't sleep, folks. God don't sleep. Here is what some of the folks told us recently, guys, about what's happening there at Amelia's Word. God don't. I want you all to know, you don't sleep. You don't sleep. Long time gone. Ambassadors and High Commission, and short time come. Huh? Business elite. The bourgeoisie. Long time gone. Short time come. That's what I want you all to know. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, here's what some of the folks told us yesterday. You know, folks, if I see a councillor break down yesterday, you couldn't walk through Amelia's Ward in that squatting area and see the destruction they brought to human lives and living, and have a dry eye. And have a dry. We went to spend a couple hours, get some information, and come back to report to you. That's why we don't have a podcast yesterday. We went to spend a couple hours early, come back and get a podcast out for you guys. We end up spending the whole damn day because it's so much pain and misery there. Ended up having to put some of the money you sent to us to help some folks rebuild at the back there. Wasn't much. But we had to do our part on your behalf as well. Some of the funds that were sent to us, we gave there. You couldn't walk through there and you didn't feel hurt. You didn't feel hurt. Right? While a lot of people out there just sailing. Huh? Prostituting themselves a boat ride. Sailing. Short time gone. Long time gone. Short time come. Here are some of the folks told us yesterday. You could feel the pain, anguish, and the misery. You know, the whole life they're struggling. Every day they got a burden to carry. And somebody came on the 6th of May and added to the load. Could you imagine getting a notice on the 5th? You're going to have a meeting on the 12th to determine the way forward for the settlement. And people come the day after and broke down your house. Here's some of what we learned yesterday as we spoke with some of those folks in the Amelia's Ward squatting settlement there.
Last year.
From last year to now,
Nobody have met back with us to tell us nothing. Just this is the development. This is the development.
So, my brother, last year, y'all had let's start from there. Y'all had a committee that represented the area. Tell us about the area. What was the name of this area that we were in here?
Central Amelia's Ward squatting. Right. I came in 2019. Right. And they got this guy Powers. We only knew him as Powers. Right. He was the one that had a plan. And he was showing us where the lots were, where the streets were. Because he told us, man, once we squatted in this control area, you understand me, and established the roadways, when they come in to regularize, it wouldn't be that much work. We pulled together, we clear roadways. I brought in a mini excavator and we established all the cross streets. You understand me? And then just how we sitting, even when housing came in, they said this was one of the most organized squatting they ever came across. You understand? Because everything was already in place because we had a plan. We didn't squat here and square. We didn't put nothing in the middle of the roadway. You understand me? And with that, they said, good, we could work with this. Fill out the application, send it in. The committee did that. We sent it in and they told us, all right, just hold on. We're going to come back. You understand me? Meet back with you guys and then we're going to update you how we'll be moving. This is the update 1 year later. You just pass through the excavator, bulldoze people building. Columns. What is building behind you? This was 4 columns. 2 of them lying on the ground now. You understand? These things is money.
And what have they told you is the reason for this?
Well, I heard about it last night. I heard about the destruction last night when I came, and then this morning I'm here now that they're making way for a road. You understand me? But this is a road next to a ravine, and the width that they're trying to establish ain't gonna stand up, right? Because this land running a slant and it's heading straight down to a ravine. So I know how you putting a road at the end of a ravine. And what size of road? A 4-lane highway? Because we already have an established road. We brought in our fence 20 feet to give them another 12 feet so we could establish a 24 feet passageway, matter of fact. Because the established road is further to that side. Just with Jeep, the power company already has utility poles coming in. You understand me? No utility poles this side.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. My sister, what can you tell us about what's happening here?
Basically, I'm the counselor responsible for the area, Ms. Benjamin Hall, and I would have learned about the squatting when we were in the process of, or just before Central Housing came to do the big showdown at the Meadows Road Primary School. When they left, persons in the area said that they were the same explanation that the guy just gave. They were able to have meetings with this committee. Persons would have been able to clear land and sell. Again, the same name was being called. And housing came in at least twice for last year. That's the report that I got. Housing came in at least twice for last year. And they even put markings on persons or give them a number that they should have worked with and not to do anything further than was on the site when they came. People have been moving around, but I don't know where they would have developed or not. My concern is that the persons are saying they got a letter like yesterday afternoon, and housing was here this morning to destroy, and they had up to the 12th to get themselves together out of the way. If you give me a notice this morning, it's unfair, or this afternoon, it's unfair for me to move overnight to another location, and that's the point that's the inhuman part of it. We even heard of a situation where a 60-plus-year-old woman, not well, was dragged from a top flat through the rain, even though she was ill. You know, it's really unfair, and I believe that the housing ministry needs to say something to the people that can really compensate for the damages, because you're looking at foundations that cost probably $3 million, flooring and everything ripped up. It's tough. This is a tough community. People.
That's a lot of homes.
One woman said she's doing domestic work. She's doing domestic work, and she actually fainted when she got the news that her house was destroyed. The people are saying nobody listened to anything that they had to say. You hadn't a chance to explain or give any kind of word that this is what's happening. And justice is needed right now. That's the most I can say. Justice is needed because it's unfair.
My brother, you live in the area here too?
No, I'm not living in there.
All right. What do you think about what was happening here?
What I think what is happening is inhuman. You know, I just can't imagine that people trying to establish themselves, you know, to create a foundation of their own, waiting on the government to do something. It's a no-no. It's not going to happen. Because when you go through, they're going to tell you, I'm still waiting or working on 2018 to know. You can't go back in the past to live. You want to live now. You want to establish a family, a foundation. When will this happen? So the people decided to do what they know best they can do, to create a home for themselves. So this is what you're going to do to them? No, there's a better way to do it. And the thing is about, you're going to move us or relocate us? No, if we establish ourselves, help us to establish ourselves the way we should. And that's how I see it. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much.
Sometime around last year, July, they had a big housing expo. And persons would have paid $700,000+ for a house lot. That was expected to. And when you pay, you get something to move with right away. These are young people who are independent and willing to go on their own. You have 30-something, 40-something-year-old children living with parents, and they need to move on. Today, they're still waiting on a house lot.
Wow.
Still waiting from since last year, July, to have, all they have in their hand is the receipt that they would have paid for the land.
Mhm.
I would have spoken with lands and surveyors representatives who said that there wasn't any land identified. And so what are we really actually doing? Are we frustrating our people to cause people to move in another direction? I'm trusting that this thing is solved, and it is solved quickly, because I don't want it to escalate. I really don't want it to escalate.
I hear you. Thanks for that. Thank you. My sister, what is your take on what's happening here?
Pretty inhumane. I think it's disrespectful to our people in this community. I mean, to know that you come and you work hard, you're trying to develop yourself because you can write to housing, they wouldn't acknowledge you. You can go to housing, they wouldn't acknowledge you. I did it, I tried. So I decided to take a piece of land and they destroy it. It's pretty inhumane.
Wow.
I mean, I can build it back. But what about the people who can't? How do we do these things to people? And we call it democracy. This is not democracy. By no way, not by a long shot, you call it democracy. I come from democracy, so I know what democracy look like. Right? And this is pretty sad.
All of this is Amelia's word?
Yes, Amelia's Ward phase 1 and 2.
And what are we in now? This
I
is
think this is phase 2.
phase two.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Phase 2. Right?
You know, it's really sad what's happening here.
It's heartbreaking.
Really sad.
It's
Really sad.
heartbreaking. I mean, people do honest things in this community. Much isn't in this community for people to do. You got to be very industrious and creative. And everybody you see trying, sure. Everybody tries in this community.
Yeah.
Whether they're making plantain chip, they walk and selling porridge,
Mm.
whatever they do it honestly. Yes, you get a percentage that don't want to work. We can't, we got to address that some way, somehow, sometime down the line. But people that came here and put down foundation, they throw box. They went in Ponzi scheme. Even though you could identify to them that this is a Ponzi scheme, it's not right, you're going to lose. They're prepared to lose. They went to the extreme that they're prepared to lose. Where they throw how much on the Ponzi scheme? 35,000 and get back. Throw 30,000, throw 35,000, and you get back 30,000. They went so far to do that. I take my hats off to them. Right? Because when you go to MoneyGram, the line is long. There's people relative overseas sending money for them to supply themselves here. How we do this? How could we say we caring?
Yeah.
How could we say one Guyana?
Yeah.
What is different from the other person and me? That's not one Guyana. I don't understand one Guyana.
Indeed. Indeed.
You know,
Indeed.
it's sad. It's really hurtful to pass and see a young woman, everything on the streets there. You know, if you tell me you're taking your bacon a road 52, fair enough, we can give you the 52. But don't come and take our lots.
Yeah. Thanks for your thoughts. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, Sean.
Thank you. MP Devon Sears. What's happening, my brother? Let's talk about what's happening here. You know, you're the man on the ground.
Sure. Right now, it's very. This is. I don't know. It's shocking. This morning when we came, we were met by the Rasta guy to the front, whose house was broken first, and his story is. It brought tears to my eyes because he's actually working with the government on one of the government projects building Bamia Primary School, I believe. All right. So he was at work and then he got a message stating that his house is being broken down. So by the time he reached there, everything was flattened. So he's living with his girlfriend or his fiance, his wife. And they have nothing. They have nowhere to go. They have nothing left. When she came, I think she was vacationing in S2E41 or something of that nature. When she got there, she started breaking down because she know how hard she worked.
Yeah.
They have made many sacrifices. It's the two of them alone. All they have is each other, and now no house, no roof over their head. It's this here is inhumane, and we cannot just let it go just like that. Cheryl, this entire area here, which we're in right now, there are some houses that have AW, meaning that the regularization process has already begun. So if the process already begun, why is it that you're breaking down the people's foundation, right? And there was no proper consultation. There was no proper information being disseminated to them, no proper notice. Because if you're giving, look, this is what I'm talking about. One of the markings here, AW, a part of it is missing. It's supposed to get a number. On this other one across there, it's the same thing. So the regularization process begun. So if the regularization process begun and the folks are already organized themselves, there's supposed to be a road behind here. So now you tear down the folks' houses So these houses at the back here automatically, I don't know what's going to happen, right? But like I said, this is not.
No, but this particular destruction here,
Yeah.
I see this as vindictive because look how far in.
Yeah,
how
really
far
far in.
You understand? They
Yep.
came so far enough and to push down this thing. Look how far in.
All right.
So even just confirm for us. This is phase two. Amelia's ward.
The new area that was identified.
A new area that was identified for housing, right? So, but most persons, uh, they don't have the papers, but they've already applied. The process has already begun, right? And within it, you already have an established road in front there that can be used. If it is that you need a road, that road can be used. Just expand it a little bit. Why break down the folks' houses? There's millions and millions of dollars. Look, things hard, things really, really tight in Linda and Sherrod. And brother, I don't know how these people are going to get off their feet after this large loss today here. So our goal really right now is to fact find. We have to explore legal action against the demolition, and we still have to find ways and means to see if we can house some of the persons who are dislocated.
Have you have a sense that they're finished the path of destruction at the back here?
No, it's just begun. It's just begun, and we're saying to the folks, look, we have to unite as one. If you're doing things, you got to do it the right way. You have to do it the proper way. You can't just come into our community and just do as you please. And sometimes we're a little bit too quiet about things. If you know something is going to happen, share with your neighbor. Information is key. Communication is key in fighting this install regime.
Yeah.
The thing is, they asked the committee. This is the marking.
Yeah.
They asked the committee.
We're looking at some of the markings on the post here, which indicated these were houses that are already in the regularization process. I think that's what this marking means. AW460. It means that they are already in the regularization process at the back this side. And what could have thwarted that process, which led to the bulldozing of the houses in this new phase of Amelia's ward, remains to be seen. But it's just what's happened at the back here over the last 24 hours, and we're just trying to get a sense ourselves what is going on. What is going on? So we're in another section of the development, and this is Amelia's ward again, right? We're in another area. And again, similar to the first area we were in, some of the houses here are bulldozed or slated to be because they're bringing a road, as they claim. And it would seem apparent that those housing areas and those house lots that belong to the PPP, even though it's in the part of this quote unquote road, they're untouched. And that's the one Guyana we're talking about.
So Sherrod, this is the young man whose house almost $3 million, over $3 million. Come on, sir. Break down the man's property. He and his cousin invested here. Almost $4 million. He's right here.
And it's the end of everything. Which part I get the road? What all this other foundation right here? Everything that in line. Where part this is possible that you could do something like this is? Two time. And just report everything there and left everything else. And we dig the foundation, there, they said they gotta go in more, we go in more, what the pile, they said the pile, this is the pile, we go in more, and they still lift up everything. And then they say about road, they might use the road, they come out from a bush. Somewhere in the bush there. They use a bush, come out, and just dig up this foundation and go.
So how
Me understand. Me understand.
Because there's a road straight up here.
folks, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Makes no sense at all what we're seeing on the ground here. Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
There's a gully.
Makes no sense. And Bifagera, in this area here, what is this? What is your sense of what's happening in this specific area?
It's hard to grapple with the reality of what is going on here, Sherrod. A lot of
poor people, industrious people would have made grave sacrifices. If you understand the layout of this era before it became developed, you would understand the pain and the horror these people are expressing. Because all of this area here was trees. So people came in here, you couldn't bring in equipment here because of how many trees that were here. So people came in here with cutlass. Yes, they carve out this entire block. You understand? And then when the place started to look livable, someone came and said we need to form a committee so that we could regularize the place. Some guy they said named Powers and Fraser, who represents the PPP, and organize the community. And the people started to pay for lots, hire a surveyor, survey the area, lot out where roads and all such like have to go. And this is what became a community, so to speak. And people started to build. They paid the Powers and Fraser, who claimed that they were representing the interests of CHNPA and the government. And they started to build on the notion and on the understanding that having paid these people who represents the government and CHNPA, their process of occupation of these lands were legitimate. So they started to build, to bring in building materials here, Sharon. A lot of money, because this is far at the back of Amelia's ward. To hire a truck right in Amelia's ward where the hardware stores are and to transport it at the back here is a lot of money. And it's real hard rendering what these people did. Then they come and give them notices, I'm told. But they said on the 5th, they gave the notice on the holiday and tell them they will have a meeting with all of the occupants at the back here on the 12th. Came yesterday and started to demolish the people's home. One woman was in the house while the guy who supposedly was in charge instructed the operator to push down the house with the woman inside, a 60 plus year old woman, sickly. Didn't allow the woman to even exit the house, push it down with her inside, and then instructed the guy operating the machine to push her house, her broken down house, over into the gully. These are acts of inhumane in nature. It's an act of injustice, and the people of this community must rise up.
Yeah.
Because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
That's right.
So this is not just about Linden. This is about a microcosm of the action of the PVP that is reflective of their stewardship in government for all of Guyana. So what is happening here should also roll up the emotions of other people in other parts of Ghana. Because we have black people living here, we have Amerindian people living here, we have East Indian people living here. Surprisingly, I saw a Chinese man at the back here. So this is a reflection of Guyanese living in this community at the back here. And the actions of CHMP is unjust, it's uncalled for. Then you break down the people's homes, you didn't even tell them how are they going to be compensated. It's grave sacrifices people made to build those homes at the back here. This youth man, I taught this youth man in school. It's sacrifices they have made to build these structures here. And what the CHMPA did, what the government of Ghana did, is totally unacceptable. It's an act of injustice. This is a crime against humanity, Sherrod, because this is people who trying to eke out a life for themselves by making grave sacrifice. This community has over 60% unemployment. So you understand the sacrifices people had to make to build these structures here. And the government has come in and once who broke it down, no act of humanity, break down people's home. And then they even say to them how they will be compensated, where they will be allocated. People want homes and land to live. And that is why they would have made the sacrifices, come out and chop these bush and started to carve out this community. A lot of communities in Guyana, Sherrod, in Linden in particular, were birthed out of squatting. Block 22, a big part of Amelia's ward. This is the largest community in the entire Caribbean housing community. Were birthed out of the acts of squatting. Phase 1B in Wizrock, birthed out of squatting. The community decided to go out and had an understanding that they are going to do this squatting in an organized fashion. So they pay the surveyor come in and they carve out based on how lands were distributed, for example, in Rizra, the size of those lands, and they carve it out based on the size of how the community was first established. They carve out where roads and electrical poles and what's not used to go. And they invited Sheikh Bash at the time, who was the Minister of Housing, and he said he had never seen in the entire Guyana organized squatting in such a manner. And their work was made easy because the people did all of the work. We cleared the entire West Rock Phase 1B area. And the same has been mimicked at the back here. We have farmers, brethren, I know, Asim and those chaps, been planting at the back here for years before people started to come and live. And banners just come and grade down the fruit trees, the coconut trees, and say they're going and do housing. What about the consideration for the time and the effort, the labor, the resources these men would have put to establish these farms that supply the community with these produce? So this is totally unacceptable, and we must rise up and stand against this Sherrod. It's wrong. Totally wrong.
Thanks, MP. Thank you. My sister, tell me a story. Your mother was in the house when these guys came with the barbarism. Tell us about that.
Yes, she was, because I got a call stating that these people dismantling this place and this woman inside, but I didn't believe because I wanted to know how they could do something like that. So by the time I meet back at the back of the place there, I realized they already went inside and started breaking. So how you would not know that there's somebody in there? And she's sickly, she's not well. She was lying upstairs because I went to get some medications for her. So by the time I come back, there's what they were doing. So I was trying to explain to them, man, yeah, just let this woman come out of there. They weren't even listening to me. They would still continue dismantling this place. So one of the guys, after we've gotten into heated argument, because I wanted to know how inhumane you could be by doing something like this, he called the excavator to throw the place down, and the woman was right in there. Yeah. Wow. So I can't understand how they could do that. Wow. They literally hauled this woman out of this place, and then is when they started doing what they had to do. Wow. So I can't understand how they could do that.
That's barbaric. Inhumane, as you put it, brother. Thanks very much for sharing that with us. Thank you.
Let's go. But they're coming and break down people's houses and say they're building roads. Go and fix the roads that need fixing right now, that affecting people's community. People got to pay extra money to taxi to go home because of the deplorable state of the road. You know how many motor operators have to go and buy shacks, engine mount to fix their vehicle, tire bent up because the road is terrible. And the bishop in doing nothing.
Why is this area so important to them all of a sudden?
I don't know. Probably
answer that question. Because they got lots of land in this country.
Exactly. They want to have and make an inroad into the Linden community. They want to bring some of their supporters in the community. But the fact of the matter is, Sherrod, we have thousands of Lindeners who have applied for lot. And up to now, they are still awaiting.
And paid.
Yes, and paid. I believe more should have been done for people to have access to housing. But the fact of the matter is, we have many persons who are still waiting to be given house lots. And we have lands right here. And that's why the people went to find this location and started, because lands are available. We don't have an issue in Guyana where there's a shortage of land. The issue is the allocation of these lands so that people can build with proper infrastructure, of course. But the people would rather you give them the land and wait for the infrastructure. So this is what we demanding. Allow the people to get the land. Allow the people to get the land.
Folks, this destruction has no pattern. It's just random and sporadic.
Where's that around?
As though you just identify a house and you just say, smash this down. It has no particular pattern. And we're looking for motive. What led them here?
Who gave this letter, Fraser?
This letter will be breakdown.
Just say.
Oh.
Alright, buddy. You tell me.
Oh, this is the letter that was
German takes.
Some people got something there.
5th of May. This notice was given. And yesterday.
This year?
Yes, the 5th of May 2002.
Yes,
that's the letter.
A notice given one day, and you break it on the next.
All the people deceive the people. What they're masters of
Whose one
deception.
is it? I want to get more damage.
Sammy.
But they're gonna have a general meeting with all of the residents on the 12th of May. And came like a thief in the night. And break down the people's homes.
Wow.
Watch this destruction. Watch this destruction
Folks,
of
that
how
notice that was given, a notice was given, as we said, on the 5th. This is Indian Arrival Day. A notice was given on the 5th that residents are going to have a meeting on the 12th to decide on the way forward for this community. And the folks came the day afterwards and started breaking down. Can you imagine that? A notice given to residents there of this occupied area on the 5th that they were going to have a meeting with Central Housing and Planning on the 12th for there to be a consensus on the way forward for the community. And the day following the notice, these trucks came and break down everything. Can you imagine that? The PPP indeed wicked, stink, and dirty. Wicked, stink, and dirty. And this is how the mothers in that area are celebrating Mother's Day today. This is how, and their mothers there with children. This is how they're celebrating Mother's Day today, in grief and anguish, without a roof over their heads. Without a roof over their heads, folks. This is how they're celebrating Mother's Day. That's our time today, folks. That's our program. This is what the funding you guys sent to us. This is what it does. We have to go into these areas. A part of journalism is pursuing the truth wherever it lies, wherever it may be found, pursuing the truth. And we didn't just go there. We gave money to the effort to help rebuild some of these structures, because people don't have a roof over their head. There's one issue that really, really touched us. One woman occupying a house in this area. She's been in 2 abusive relationships, and she's fleeing the second one. And got a piece of land here and occupying a house here. You wake up one day and there are men breaking down your house. More abuse. The system abusing you now. And that woman was shaking like a leaf in the rain when we met her yesterday. Couldn't even talk to us. Shaking like a leaf because she's been abused by 2 men in her life. She's running from that. She got a 2x4 here. Trying to make a life, trying to get back on her feet. And there's men at the door who are going to ultimately break down that structure she was occupying. Break down that structure. Those guys could run a road anywhere in that area to get down to the land they want to access at the back. But they can dislodge, block up anything in their path to get to where they want to be. And as I said, some of the destruction there got no pattern. It makes no sense. Some houses are not even on the path of the road, not even close. And it's like somebody identified it and say, this is a APNU supporter house, and they just mash it up. Some of it makes no sense whatsoever. But God don't sleep. God don't sleep. And we're going to continue to do this work because we understand how the information is valuable to you guys out there. That's our promise to you. As long as we got life and we got breath, we got the resources to pay for it. That being said, folks, this is what your contributions go towards, to put us on the ground among the people. Get the information and we say, here it is. Here's what's happening, guys, in Amelia's ward. All right. The equipment we use, that's why you get such clarity in the interview, is funding you guys sent us. We purchased that with. We want to thank you guys who've supported us in this way. It means a lot to us. It's our passion to do this work, pursue the truth, valid, credible information on your behalf. That's what we're about. We want to thank you guys who have been helping us, and we want to invite more of you to do so, because don't run away with the effect. Some people watch our program and say, oh, hundreds of people watching, thousands watching the rig. Y'all must get, millions of dollars. Please don't be of that mindset. It's in your heart to help us. find a way to help us. Find a way to help us. This is what we do with the funding. And we're so grateful for those of you who have. We have several platforms just for your convenience. And not because we want to, say it in a braggadocious way. But we got Cash App, we got Zelle, PayPal, MMG. We're available via MoneyGram and Western Union as well, all for your convenience. That's all. Just for your convenience. Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, MoneyGram, Western Union, we're available at those two platforms as well, and via MMG, which is the local quote unquote cash. MMG. You want to know how to access any one of these or any additional information, how you can partner with us? 627-6963. If you're in the diaspora, of course, the country code is 592. 627-6963. All right, that's our phone number. We can give you guys guidance. Share the live stream, guys. Smash the emoji button. This is the kind of programs that really and truly empower us as much as you guys get information to keep doing what we're doing. We want to thank you guys for empowering us to do it, giving us the resources to get to where the information is. We want to thank you guys so much, so much. On behalf of the entire team at this end, thanks for joining us today. Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. And so many mothers aren't happy because of what's happening in this place with the catfish, chagabats and trench crappos, tadpoles and cricketers. We told one of the guys who was asked to smash these houses, said he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He backed off. Right? And another Tantarian, he went ahead and smashed those houses. They got a couple people with conscience still, cockroaching it all. And we're thankful for folks like that who will not be a part of mischief and wickedness and evil. Hundreds of you have joined us today. Take the opportunity to share the live stream, smash the emoji button that others get valid and credible information, folks, and partner with us. Consider partnering with us so that we can continue to grow from strength to strength. We want to thank all of those persons who've already done so. Thank you. Every month, folks, we got our responsibilities to meet. And thanks to you guys, November would be 2 years since we're here. Since we out here fighting, and we intend to be here longer. Thanks for joining us. That's our time. That's our program. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. Stay safe out there, guys. See you guys tomorrow back bright and early. FYI, back below the belt during the course of lunch or whatever, 12 to 1, whatever period is that where you are. And also we're back in the ring tomorrow evening. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of the Sunday. Great rest of this Sunday. Have a fantastic day, guys. Stay safe. Stay safe.